Hello everyone, welcome back to our RoboFriends app. And in today's video, we are going to cover up our RoboFriends app. In the previous one, we have initially set up the RoboFriends app and we have added some such functionalities and we have worked on some part of our application. But in today's one, we are going to work on our RoboFriends and we are going to generate our robots over here. So with this, I think we are getting some kind of card structure over here. So for that, firstly, we need to design a kind of card component and we are going to display our RoboFriends from this website in this card component. So let us first work on the card component. So we need to create a new component and that is card.js. Now we are going to have a React functional component and over here we are going to have our image. So like in this we would be going with img tag and we are going to display that image over here in this sense. And for that we need this URL that is the robohas.org, so we can copy this one and we need to provide the source file for image, so we can just simply paste that URL and in this case we need to have src is equals and then after we can have the alt for that and we can just simply write robots over here. And let's suppose in this case I'm just simply going with the user ID as one. So let us save this one, compile this and let us check what we are getting in our React app. So firstly, we need to import this card component in our app.js. So let us do that. We can copy this one and we can use this one over here. And yeah, it's being compiled. So yeah, we are getting our RoboFriends over here. So that's cool. But now we have to style this and we need to work on this one. So let's first style this component, and for styling we would be going with our friend that is tachyons and we would be using their table of styles and we would be going with this one. So with that let us work on the stylings. Now we need to work on this one. So by default we can have some good styling as firstly, let us visit to our website. So we can see this is being centered and we are having a kind of light green background over here. So let us just simply set that for this time. So we are going to have the text as center and we need the BG as light green. So let us save this one and check what we are getting. So yeah, we are getting the stylings over here, but this is a kind of we need in the form of card structure, but we are getting something like inline form. So for that we would be using this class name that is div and that is being used for inline block. So let us use this one over here. Let us save this one and yeah, we are getting in the form of the card format, but we need to work on some more things, that is the border radius, the hover effect and other things as well, like some margins and some paddings. So let us work on those things. So firstly we can have the padding of 3, we can have the margin of 2 and we can have the grow effect, that is the hover effect, and we also need the border radius. So like we can go with the border radius of 2 and at last we need a kind of shadow that we are going to use the shadow of 5. So with that let us use this and let us save this one. So yeah, we are getting some kind of like it's a kind of similar to this one as we were having before, but now we are just simply having one robots over here. So now we are going to generate all of our RoboFriends over here. So for that we need to modify our URL and we also need to work on some things as well. So let us do that. But initially, like for this, we are going with something called string literals, and these are being used in order to in this case, we are going to display the multiple RoboFriends over here. So they would be having their unique ID, and by the help of their unique ID, we would be going to display them. So in this case, we are having the ID of one, and for them, we have different IDs for each of them. So for that we would be using something called IDs. So in this we would be getting the ID from the website, that is JSON placeholder. So we can just simply use this, that is we can use this dollar symbol and we can go with this ID. So it would just simply grab this from that and it would just simply uh, use that ID, by the way. And then after we can have the height of 200 and we can also have the width of 200. And now in this case id is not being defined, so we need to pass this as a props. So like props is normally being used in order to send data from one component to another component. And in the previous video I have covered the props, so if you don't know much on that you can check out that. And then after we are having name, and then after we are having email over here. So let us simply save this one. And yeah, now we are getting nothing as an error. But then after we need to have one more component, and that is our card list component. So in this we are again going to use our React functional component and we are going to import our card that we have created. So we are going to import this over here, and then after in this we are going to display each of our robots. So for that we are going to again pass this robots as our props. And by the way, we are going to use this website, that is JSON placeholder, and from here we are going to grab the name, the email and the ID. So like for that I have initially done that. So like in this case we are having ID, we are having the name, we are having the username and we are having the email over here. But from this we just simply need the name and the email and the ID from here. And we need to do this for the 10 users. And as we can see, like we are having array over here. Like we can visit this website and we can see like we are having array over here. So we can use something called map function for the array. And the way map function works is like let's suppose in this case we are having an array. So in this it's just simply storing random numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we are using this array, that is the ARR that we have stored over here, and we are using map function over here. And what we are doing over here is like we are taking this element, that is this particular element one by one, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, another as well, and we are going to just simply multiply this with 2 in order to double the value that it does holds with itself initially. So we are getting something called 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and that's all. This is how the map function works. And in this I would also like to let you know, like in this we are using arrow function. So we are just simply returning one thing, one element out of here. So in this we don't need to use the return over here, but when we are working with map function and we are returning multiple elements, in that case we would be returning this one in order to receive some data from there. So with that, now let us work on the map component. Sorry, I mean the card list component, and we are going to have the robots over here. And then after we are going to map this. Let me do that once again. So yeah, we are going to have the robots over here. Then we are going to map this using the map function. And in this we are going to have the user. And in this we are going to have the I, that is the index for each of them. And then after we are going to have the arrow function. And over here we are going to use our card component that we have imported over. Uh, Let me rewrite it. So yeah, that's a card component. And now in this we need the key for each of them. So the key would be the index of each of the user. And now then after we can have the ID. So for ID we can go with robots of 0. I mean sorry, robots of 0 not, it would be robots of I. Mm, dot id. So like the way it works is like in this case, let us see in this one. So in this case we are having an array, but when we do like the way indexing works in array. When we do robots of 0, we would be getting this one, and when would be like we would be using other index, we would be getting something as well. So this is how the indexing works, and I will let you know more on that once we have that data in the console. So with that, now we can have the name. So for that, we would use the same, that is robots of I dot name, and at last we would be having the email, and for that we would be having robots of I dot email. And now we can just simply save this one, and we can use this component uh, in our app.js. So we can remove this card component, and we would be using this card list, and yeah, so it's being used over here. But initially, like when we save this, we would be getting a runtime error over here, because we are using a map function, but we are not passing any kind of array in order to map that function. So we need to first store the values in the array, and then we are going to use this card list. So let us save this one once again. Now over here we are going to have our use effect in order to like fetch the data from this website, and we are going to store this data, the ID, name, and all those other details as well. And we also need the use state that is being used in order to store the data. And now over here we can have a function that is like we are going to use our use state. So in this we are going to have the robots, and we are going to have, actually we don't need this one, and we are going to have the set robots function that is being associated with it. And in this we are going to have our use state, and initially we are going to store the empty array over here, and then after we are going to use our use effect hook, and over here we are going to fetch the data from that website. So for that we would be using this method that comes with the use effect that is being fetched. So we can just simply copy this URL, and we can paste this over here, and then after we are going to have some response from there. So we would be using then response, and we are going to receive this response in the form of JSON format. Like we are getting the response in the form of JSON format. So we are going to receive this. Then after we are going to store this data in our robots, that is empty array by this time. So for that we need to use the function that is being associated with it, and that's how the use state works. So in this we are like, let's suppose in this case we are using robots, like we are having a variable robots that is storing the data that we are getting from this response, and then after we are going to set the robots to the data that we are getting from here. And now we can just simply save this one, and like we can see like what we are getting over here. So for that I would like to go with something called React developer tools. You can install this extension. Like this is a really good extension when you're working with React. So I do have with myself. So I would like to show you something. We can open the developers tool, and over here when we click on this, we are getting something called components. We can just simply click on this one, and in this we were working on the app component, that is app.js. So we can just simply click on this one, and here you can see like we are getting a kind of hook that is our use effect hooks, and we are getting the data that is being stored over here. So in this case we are having the ID, name, username, email, and other details like we were having from this website. So we are being successful in order to fetch the data from this website. Now we need to display this data, but let me also console this data as well. So like for consoling this data, we can use the function. I mean, you can just simply use the method that is console.log and the robots that we are getting over here. So yeah, now we can open the developers tool. But as you can see, like we are getting this, but this is a kind of infinite loop because the way the use effect hooks work. First, let me remove this. The way the use effect hook works, like it would just simply re-render the data again and again if we don't provide a kind of parameter like in this one. We just want to render this data only once. So in this, when we are saving this one, so this won't be going in a infinite loop. So it's being rendered once and the data is being stored in this array, and then after it won't get executed again and again as we are getting before. So we can go to the console and we can reload this, and we need to console this, by the way. So we can console this robot, and we can open this console. I think we need to save this, and also we need to use this array that is for the use effect hook. So we need this over here. So now it's good to go. So from this, we would only get the console being once time. So yeah, we are getting this, and it's for the previous one. So we can just simply remove this, and now we can work on the displaying the card list. So over here we are having the card list. We can remove the comment from here and here as well, and we can remove the console as well. We don't need this anymore, and we can have this up in one line, and we can save this one. Now let us check this one. So yeah, we are not passing array in this cart list. So over here we need to pass this array, that is the robots over here, that is being stored in the array that you have seen earlier. And we can save this one, and here then after we would be getting the robots over here. But right now it's not being shown, because as I have said earlier, like with the map function, when we are just returning the one element, we don't have to use the return function. But when we are returning the multiple elements, we have to use the return over here. So we can go to a cart list, and here we need to have the return statement. And we can just simply save this one, and over here we are getting our RoboFriends. So that's how it works, and how cool it is. But now over here, let us see what we are missing. So we need to display the name, and we need to display the email ID as well. And we can't see those fields over here. So let us work on that one. We can go to our card.js, and in this we can have one more div tag, and in this we can have the h2 as heading, and in this we can display the name, that is the name over here, and we can display the email ID in the form of p tag over here. And now let us save this one, and now we are getting the name and the email over here.